How about them Sun Devils taking down number 16 Utah in Tempe, and ASU is 5-1, baby.
You are Locked On Sun Devils, your daily podcast on the Arizona State Sun Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Richie Bradshaw, and I will be your guide for everything Arizona State Sun Devils. A shout out to my everydayers who are here every day, and thanks to all of you for making us your first listen of the day. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications wherever you're getting your shows. Stay in touch by following me on Twitter at RichieBrats36, the podcast at LO_Sun Devils. Y'all, I do apologize for the yell at the top of the show. If you can't tell, I'm pretty excited. It's also 1:30 in the morning as I am recording this, and I have to be up in 4 hours. So I'm kind of wired right now, but I'm excited more than anything because ASU football just stunned the college football world. The team that was picked to finish dead last in the Big 12 preseason media poll, which, by the way, yours truly voted in that, and I did not have ASU last. Just want to make that very clear. Utah was picked to finish first in the Big 12. You would have thought this was going to be chalk and Utah was going to waltz in. I know I did. Over the summer, I said, tattoo this game as a loss. There's no way ASU wins it. This is the game I said was the easiest, most concrete loss for the Sun Devils, with the only other game in competition being Kansas State, which also looks pretty winnable this year. Yeah, ASU did the thing. They are 5-1, ladies and gentlemen. 5-1. Wrap your head around that for a second. The Sun Devils, who have won 3 games in each of the last 2 seasons. The team who had the darkest cloud hanging over them because of all of the sanctions that the previous regime brought to this program. That all of the negative that left this program has found success everywhere else, and ASU was left to suffer. Well, guess what? That suffering, hopefully it's in the rearview mirror. I feel pretty good about it, and I think you guys should too. This is going to be a brief episode. This is completely unscripted. I do not have a script in front of me. I don't have talking points. I got nothing. You are going to get me just reacting to this win, talking to you about this win for the next 10 minutes or so. I'll keep it nice and concise. I don't want to sit here and chew up too much time. Also, this will not be replacing the Monday episode where we go over the good and the bad and hand out some friggin' game balls, baby. No, this is unscripted. This is unfiltered. This is just me reacting. What a win. Like I said, ASU picked to finish dead last in the media poll. Utah picked, oh my goodness. This is how you know. It's unscripted. I have no talking points in front of me. Utah picked to finish first in that same media poll. Don't know what to tell you. You would think that even on the road, Utah would have been able to walk into Arizona State and beat them. And I hear some of you, oh, Utah, they didn't have a Cam Rising at 100% health. Oh. I didn't know Cam Rising played defense. I didn't know that Cam Rising was responsible for Cameron Scadaboo running for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 50-yarder and a 47-yard dagger. I had no idea that Cam Rising was playing on defense. I had no idea that Cam Rising was completely responsible for everything else that went wrong for Utah. I didn't see him playing offensive line. I didn't see him dropping passes. No. You can sit here and play your world's smallest violin that Cam Rising wasn't ready to go. Well, you know what? If it was really that bad, then you should have benched him and you should have gone to Isaac Wilson. But instead, you want to double down and you want to force the issue of keeping Cam Rising, who is clearly not 100%, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if he's 50% the way he was playing tonight. He could not hit anything. He looked better in the second half, but my goodness, he looked like he was throwing left-handed. It was a bad game for Cam Rising. I'd be curious if he's had any worse games in his career, in his 40-year college career. I don't know that Cam Rising has had a worse game than what he had against Arizona State. And instead of trying to beat ASU in different ways, like, I don't know, running the football with Micah Bernard, who ran for 129 yards and a touchdown, he also cut 61 yards on 5 catches. Why are you not funding him? Why is he not the focal point of the offense? Instead, you have Cam Rising throw it 37 times? What? 37 times, completed under 50% of his passes, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. What are you doing, Utah? What are you doing? Did you think you were going to win the football game by forcing the issue of a struggling quarterback who's not played a full 60 minutes in a year and a half and is clearly not good to go? You're going to make it his problem? No. This was not the fault of Cam Rising. ASU did not beat Utah because of Cam Rising, and Utah did not lose because of Cam Rising. Utah overthought their coaching. They believed that Cam Rising, with all of the drama that has surrounded him, none of it to his fault either. This is all media-stimulated stuff. They felt that they needed to stick with him instead of trying to alter the game plan or try out Isaac Wilson. Has he looked great? No, but you know what? He's a freshman. He needs time to learn. Instead, they feel like they need to go down with the sinking ship that is Cam Rising. That's not fair to him. It's not fair to the fans. Is what it is. When everyone's clamoring for Cam Rising to start games, I guess that's what happens. And you know what? Shame on me. Shame on me for overhyping Cam Rising. Speaking of which, I said on this show, and I want you to make fun of me, absolutely roast the heck out of me because I deserve it. I said, and I quote, if Cam Rising plays this game, they beat ASU by 17 or more. That's interesting, Richie Bradshaw of Locked On Sun Devils, because ASU won by 8. So if you gave me the 17-point spread, I was good by a 25-point margin. That's a pretty comfortable win. Shame on me for assuming that Cam Rising, coming back from a injury to his finger on his throwing arm, a quarterback who has barely played the last 2 years, and assuming that he's instantly going to come back and be this surgical, dynamic quarterback. I should have been a little more realistic and said, you know what? There's probably going to be some growing pains, and there's probably going to be some time that he needs to get readjusted. Instead, I totally just went with the logic of Cam Rising is really good, probably going to be really good when he gets back. So shame on me. Shame on me for overthinking it or not thinking it through enough. I don't know. It's one or the other. Seriously, make fun of me. I absolutely deserve it. Absolutely deserve it. What a heck of a game, though. ASU did a phenomenal job in this game. And I've got more that I want to talk about here for this Sun Devils win in just one moment. This is the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Guys, look, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims has treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing access to affordable sexual health treatments, all from the comfort of your couch. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments, such as a chewable, hard mint, proven treatments like Viagra and Cialis, or their generics for up to 95% cheaper. The process is simple and 100% online. No uncomfortable doctor visits. Just answer a series of questions on the website, and a medical provider will determine the right treatment option for you. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you for free. No insurance is needed. Pay one low price for your treatments. online visits, ongoing shipments, and provider messaging. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers. So if ED is getting you down, it's time to find the option that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/locked-on. That's hims, HIMS.com/locked-on for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/locked-on. The products mentioned are chewable compound products, which are not approved or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine the appropriate amount. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Prices vary based upon the product and subscription plan. Also want to talk to you guys about our friends over at FanDuel. Guess what? FanDuel had ASU as 6.5-point underdogs, and they beat that pretty well, I would say. But that's not all. FanDuel's got odds for everything. They got odds for the NFL, which, first of all, NFL fans, if you're trying to start off with a big return this year and a big win, then you need to check out FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. But they got hockey. They've got college football. Basketball's around the corner. You can still bet on the Major League Baseball playoffs. There's no shortage of options for you to check out. But especially for my NFL fans, if you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets so you know what you want to do. You'll also get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com to get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed with your first $5 bet. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, let's get back into our conversation and just having some fun with this ASU. I don't know if improbable is the word I would want to use, but it didn't feel. Here's the thing. Again, don't you love this? No talking points, like just kind of fumbling and stumbling on my words. Here's the thing. Going into this game, you knew that Utah was a vulnerable team after Arizona beat them in Salt Lake. You also knew that Cam Rising was not a guarantee to play this game. And if he was, unless you're talking to Richie Bradshaw, you knew that he was going to need some time to readjust. Meanwhile, Utah is traveling to Tempe. ASU remembers that 55-3 beatdown that they were given last year on the road. ASU was 4-1. They were coming off their first conference win. They are 3-0 at home. Yeah, I think ASU is looking to keep the good times rolling. The good times kept rolling because Utah comes down to the desert and ASU just matches up with them really well. ASU's defense, chef's kiss. They're absolutely outstanding this year. I have been singing the praises of Brian Ward all year long, and I will continue to sing the praises of Brian Ward all year long. He is one of the best defensive coordinators in the nation. He needs to be getting head coaching calls during the offseason. I only hope that he hangs up the phone. Marcus Arroyo, the offensive coordinator, has also been in his bag, and he has done a terrific job being able to create an offense that plays to Sam Leavitt's strengths as he is a redshirt freshman, while also just completely turning this run game into just one of the most special units that we've seen in quite some time. You're seeing some of the guys start to turn a corner too. Jordan Tyson is on a hot streak right now. Him and Sam Leavitt connected for another touchdown in this game. You have Scadaboo that's just dominating. Xavier Guillory, I know he only had one catch, but he's slowly getting involved. Shimon Mateer only had one catch before he got just busted across the middle. I mean, it was a pop. I'm pretty sure I could hear the Pats clap from the press box. They're getting it figured out. And you love to see all these pieces that are slowly coming together for the Sun Devils. It's a really exciting team that they got going right now with their coordinators, with Kenny Dillingham, with all the young talent. I want to talk about Kenny Dillingham a little bit as we go ahead and wind down this podcast, because I could just keep rambling, and I still got to save some stuff to talk about on Monday. So let's end it with this. Kenny Dillingham has come to this program and been about as humble as you could ask for a 30-something-year-old guy, for the youngest coach in the entire nation, in all of college football. Kenny Dillingham, the 30-something-year-old coach, the first time ever head coach, comes to this program. It's a mess. It's a disaster. It's a dumpster fire. They have self-imposed bowl bans. ASU's not going anywhere. He goes 3-9 his first year. They're in a lot of games. Doesn't matter. Wins are wins. Losses are losses. I do not believe in moral victories. He went 3-9. Call what it is. Could have been better, but it wasn't. Going into this year, expectations were about as low as they can get. Even outside of the Big 12 media poll, there was not a lot of people across the nation who were very high on the Sun Devils this year. ASU had 4.5, a 4.5 win total in Las Vegas, pretty consensusly. I don't know how many people looked at that and were like, oh yeah, ASU can definitely win 5 games, especially when they looked at the schedule. They were playing all the best teams in the Big 12, or at least we thought they were. This is a team that exceeding expectations doesn't even begin to describe it. And in the meantime, Kenny is still like, it doesn't go to his head. We asked him tonight at the press conference. We said, hey man, you can be as modest and as humble as you want. You got to be honest with us. Like, how does it feel to get to where you're at? You know what he says? He says, it's not about me. It's about the players. It's about the team leaders. It's about the individuals who put the effort in and day out for this program. Yeah, Kenny, come on, man. Just pat yourself on the back, brother. We're all thrilled about it. But you know what? That's not what matters to him. What matters to Kenny is that he is helping place these young men, these 18 to 22, 23-year-old kids, and putting them in a position to find success, not just on the football field, but for the futures of their lives, whether they go pro, whether they end up finding different careers when their college stints are over. Kenny is doing everything he can to teach these guys life lessons, some lessons that include being accountable, being able to set your expectations and then surpass your expectations. Kenny is teaching life lessons to these kids. And it's echoing. And people are taking notice now. And I will tell you that ASU is on the upswing. You are 5-1. There is a very, very realistic chance you could crack the top 25 in this upcoming poll. AP coaches, I don't care. They're number one in my heart. I know that much for sure. People are taking notice. And I promise you at game day tomorrow when you guys are tuning in, because I know I will be up bright and early to listen to game day, I know they're going to mention something. I know they're going to say something about ASU. And as Kenny Dillingham put it in his own press conference, the media is never wrong. The same media that picked us to finish last in the Big 12. Doesn't matter to Kenny. Kenny's just here to do his job. And he does it well. And in the meantime, while he's doing his job and he's winning football games, he is getting these young men prepared for every single test in front of them on the gridiron and off the gridiron. Hats off to you, Kenny Dillingham. You are everything that this program needed so desperately in one of the darkest times in the history of Arizona State University's athletics across the board, any sport, any generation. There are few instances that were more not depressing. I don't know, that were worse, I guess, than what you have this year. Kenny overcame it. Kenny is special. Kenny is the future. We are all in on Kenny Dillingham. Dilly, the Valley is activated, by the way. Shout out to the student section. Even during fall break, that thing was pretty darn full. Shout out to you guys. I hope you enjoyed storming the field. Okay, I'm sorry. One last thing, I promise, and then I'll wrap this up. I cannot believe that people are slandering ASU fans for storming the field. Oh, you beat Utah. I'm sorry. Utah, who was picked to finish first, right? Utah, who was number 16 in the country. So ranked, by the way. ASU has not had a ranked win since 2021 against UCLA. So it's been a few years as well. This is a team that has won 6 collective games over the last 2 years. 3 of those games were flat out forfeited by the NFL, or not the NFL, by the NCAA. So in the grand scheme of things, you have 3 wins over the last 2 years, over the last 3 years, because they had to forfeit the 2021 wins as well. You're really going to look at ASU fans who have just been in the dumper for the last 2.5 years. You're going to tell them, sorry, you can't be happy. Don't know what to tell you. Storming the field after beating Utah, that's pretty weak. You know what? I can't say what I want to say on this podcast, but I'll let you decide exactly the words that I wanted to use. To the haters, what do you guys think of this win? This is a big win. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Tear down Mill Avenue. Be safe. Have a good time. We will talk to you guys again very, very soon. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and making us your first listen of the day. A special shout out to my everydayers who are here every day. And thanks to every single one of you for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next time. Till then, you keep it launched right here on Locked On Sun Devils. Forks up, baby. 5-1 has never felt better.